Hello and welcome back, it's Repulsive Raccoon. Today we're going to be playing Soulstone Survivors. This is probably one of my favorite roguelikes ever made. We are going to be doing a series on testing out the different characters and builds in the endgame mode and see how they compare to one another. For our first build, we're going to be playing the Elementalist, and we're going to be going for kind of a chill slash slow themed build. I thought it would be fitting since we are in December for the start of this kind of series. I have a decent amount of hours into this game. I have over 100 plus. And with that being said, let's take a look at the starting weapons. So we are going to be using the Scepter of Frost. It just fires an icy projectile that applies slows to enemies, gives us a nice 60% crit chance to start with. For our runes, we are going to be using the Enduring Cold. Whenever we trigger Icy Veins, which comes from our abilities, we have a 20% chance not to consume them, and when we do proc Icy Veins, we basically get these icicles that fly around us, doing a ton of damage and applying slow. We have Efficiency Focus, which reduces the amount of Icy Veins by 4 for it to proc. We have Focused Mind. We have 2 less skill slots, but increase our damage by 70%. And Multi-Cast Mastery, increasing the chance for long chains to happen. We start off with our second weapon, and every portal we go through we gain 5 rerolls and 5 locks, and just some bonus materials to help us out with upgrading some of our weapons. But with that being said, let's get into it. We're going to be doing Titan Hunt, and we are going to be doing the level 5 version of it, and let's get started. To start off with, you are going to have a choice between 3 different bosses. For this build, we are going to be trying to fight the Glacial Watcher as much as possible. Nexal, I believe its name, but if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, let me know. But you definitely want to fight this boss, start with this build, and you have to use a few rerolls to do so. That is perfectly okay. If you end up enjoying the content, think about leaving a like and hitting that subscribe button, as it is greatly appreciated. So this is Soulstone Survivors, and it is the Titan Hunt game mode. We got our first level up already. We're going to do the Critical Strikes may apply slow, because we are sitting at a 95% chance to crit, just based off our weapon and our skill tree already. So this is absolutely insane for an upgrade. Hopefully we don't have to reroll too many times. The 2 skills you want to pick up is going to be Frozen Warhammer and Icy Vortex. Let's get some cast frequency on Severe Cold. It just makes it so our Severe Cold attacks faster. For our banishes, if you banish a skill, it banishes the skill and all rarities of the skill. You want to banish the armor and anything that applies a different status effect than slow. So for burn, you want to get rid of it. For poison, you want to get rid of it. If you end up taking a burn, it adds more burn kind of perks into the skill pool. So for this, we're going to take some multicast. We're going to get damage on our Frozen Warhammer. We are just kind of farming the enemies to start with, just to get a decent amount of level ups. Hopefully we get what we want here. There's Icy Vortex. It leaves us with 1 reroll, which isn't ideal. You want to try getting your 2 skills as fast as possible. We'll get some cast frequency on all our skills. So with this game mode, if I can actually not level up for a second, but we're leveling up a lot here. So in order to fight the Titans, the main enemies of this game mode, you need to collect Void Fragments. Right now we're sitting at 0 out of 15. To do so, there's these kind of altars that spawn around the map. There is a gray one, a green one, a blue one, and a purple. The gray giving us 1 point, the green giving us 2, the blue 3, and the purple 4. Once we hit all 15 Void Fragments, we're able to fight the Titan and progress. In order to get to the final boss, we need to defeat 4 Titans and use Older Blood to open up a portal to the final boss. We'll pick up some more crit chance here. We now have a 100% flat chance of critting. I am banishing the block power. And anything with the elemental, it's our kind of class ascension ability. If you level up the character enough in the skill tree, you get this kind of ascension. I do not find the Elementalist Ascension super good. It's still decent. It still gives you kind of free damage here and there, so it's not bad. But in terms of perks, there's just other things you want to focus on. And we got a legendary skill right off of rip. So we will banish that elemental and we'll take this legendary multicast. And we got a purple multicast for the same ability, already having a 100% chance of multicasting that skill. We'll get a 30% move speed. We will take the more multicast. But yeah, so what I like to do is I like to farm just a little bit at the beginning of these levels before I actually start taking on these altars, just because they can be rather difficult early on, depending on if you get a boss one or not. And for the upgrades, early on, you definitely want to try getting as many of the magnet upgrades as possible. It just gives you more XP, allowing you to level up more, which is always nice. Just got sent to the stratosphere by some enemies, but let's get some area modifier on all our ice abilities. Anything that affects all our skills is obviously just way better. There's some area modifier. Area modifier is really good for us. Here is a blue magnet. We also have a blue crit chance. We'll lock the crit chance and pick up the blue magnet to start with. But Icy Vortex, the way it works is it spawns under an enemy and kind of just, well, summons a massive vortex under them, but applies a ton of chill or slow stacks, I should say, to enemies all around him, allowing us to deal a lot more damage. We'll take the universal area effect here. And as you can see, we have 2 out of 15 Void Fragments, and we will work our way to this level 3 altar here. Gotta kill some wolves. Absolutely proving to be no issue for us already. And there we go. We'll get more cast frequency. Pick up all this XP. There is another magnet. I guess to just gain more. We will make it so we apply more slow stacks and make our way to the next altar. What you can do if you want to kind of power progress your build much faster is you could kind of sit around and farm some enemies instead of fighting the altars, which is definitely something you would want to do on the higher difficulties of this kind of endgame mode, as it does get really challenging the further you progress. We got some multicast on 3 of our abilities. We'll get area effect on Icy Vortex, and we will take more multicast, and more frequency, and multicast on Vortex, more slow. Leviathan, it's a universal damage buff. It takes away some speed. Basically, the way you think of Leviathan is it gives you double powerful strikes. So powerful strikes is just a global damage modifier. This is a common one, only giving us 5%. If you had a common Leviathan, you lose 5% speed, but you gain 10% damage. So it gives you double the global damage as the just standard one, but you lose speed in the process. The nice thing about it is you kind of want to have both because they work independently of one another. I don't believe they're additive, but multiplicative in this situation. So you don't want to just kind of full send one, but you want to kind of work on both if you can. There's some universal damage. And then on the map, there's a kind of crystal icon. We'll work our way towards that just to show you what that looks like. We got some more mini bosses to deal with. Make sure we don't get hit by any of these AoEs. The first one's dead. Pick up another magnet, and there's the second one. We'll pick up more magnets. More XP early on is just always good. We're almost level 50 already, which is absolutely insane. We're just making our way to the crystal to show you what that looks like. We'll take area modifier on all our ice. So this is the crystal. There's kind of this blue circle AoE. It's kind of hard to see on this map, but when you stay in it, you're kind of harvesting this massive crystal. It gives you a ton of XP, making you level up a decent amount. So it's always worth it to kind of try going after these. Once in a while, there'll be a chest on the map that does a similar thing, just gives you a ton of XP. And there we go. We ended up harvesting it, and as you can see, all the XP we are getting is insane. We'll get more universal multicast. And we're make our way towards the level 2 altar at the top. Just because this level 3 one is right in front of the boss arena, you can always tell what the boss arena looks like just because of the kind of massive circle. The mountain trolls can do a lot of damage to you, especially in kind of tight places like we're in right now. Just gotta make sure you're dodging to the best of your ability. We'll take more AoE. And make our way towards this final trial before we fight our first Titan. There's some perks we are specifically looking for that really take the build to the next level. We haven't seen any yet, but that is perfectly okay. We'll just get damage on Warhammer. And I'll take some more health here just to stop the odds of us getting one-shot. These enemies can end up doing a lot of damage. But here's the first Titan, the Glacial Watcher. And just like an icy vulture almost. Well, let's get up close and personal to this boss. Make sure we dodge the AoEs. With this build, the way it works is you stack a lot of slow on top of the enemy, and then the Frozen Warhammer does damage based on the amount of just slow on the enemy. Same with Vortex, so sometimes with these bosses it takes a little bit to ramp up to. This boss offers us two really good abilities. We can gain Icy Veins based on the distance you move, so the more we move, the more Icy Veins we get, which applies more slow, does more damage, or you can just get a direct increased damage modifier of your attacks based on the number of slow. We're going to go with the Icy Veins to start with. Hopefully we can get this Titan again. That way we can pick up that damage bonus. Right here, these are none of the Titans we really want, so we'll re-roll. And we'll go with the Golden Burglar, this kind of Golden Scarab enemy. It can give us some cast frequency and overall damage boost. And we got a Blue Magnet. This is where you kind of see the magnets play into effect. So every time you beat a Titan and go to the next area, the enemies start scaling way higher. They have way more health, deal way more damage, faster, etc. Basically, all their stats get buffed. But you also get more XP for killing them. So if you have a lot of magnets early on, the modifier, like I think we're at like plus 400 or so bonus XP. We're actually, I was looking at the pickup range, but we're at 150% bonus XP right now. So now when we kill these enemies, we're able to level up just super fast. We'll take more cast frequency here. So at the beginning of these levels, once you beat a Titan, what I like to do is I kind of just sit around for a second and find a corner to farm the enemies a lot faster. Just because the enemies can only spawn within a certain radius around you. So if you kind of sit in a corner, they'll just immediately spawn in and get killed, allowing you to farm a ton of XP. Get some more multicast here. We'll just farm a little bit. We won't stay doing this for too long. We'll get multicast on Icy Vortex. There's just some perks, like I said, that you really want to kind of go for. When they pop up, I'll explain in further detail what those are. But we'll probably go to level 70 before we end up going towards more altars. For the Freezing Blow and Severe Cold, for your perks, you want the ones that increase the cast frequency of them to make you cast the skills faster. They don't do a lot of damage. Their main purpose is just the utility of the actual skills. So just casting them more is what you want to go for. If it gives you damage, I would probably look at taking some of the other options there. But we're almost level 70, and then we'll continue on with hunting down the altars. We'll get some more move speed, just so we have some more move speed to sacrifice to the Leviathan buff. And I'll take a common magnet there, not necessarily the best. We could have used a reroll, but I want to save my rerolls for later on. Or when we fight the Titan and we get those 2 buffs, you can reroll them, because I think each Titan offers a decent amount of buffs. I believe it's 4 to 8 different buffs. So if you don't like the 2 that you are offered, you can reroll and hope you get something different. We'll get more area effect. Want to make sure we are dodging all these bosses' attacks. Hopefully you don't get stuck. We'll get cast frequency. They all should more or less be going down here. There's 3 of them dead, and the 4th one has fallen. Damage on Warhammer. And here is the perk I was talking about. This is one of them. So this is whenever you cast a type ice skill, you have a chance of casting another one of your current skills with type blast instantaneously. So this one is applying to our freezing blow. It is a blast ability, so whenever we cast one of our other abilities, we have a chance of casting freezing blow instantaneously. The reason why this can get insane is if you get the other perk that whenever you cast ice, you cast slam instantly, is your frozen hammer. So as you can see, if this casts instantly, it has a chance of then casting frozen hammer instantly, which is also an ice ability, which then has a chance of casting this instantly, and you kind of just chain react your abilities. Also, just casting this instantaneously gives us more icy veins, more slow, which does increase our damage by a lot. So whenever you see the ones that kind of synergize and give you the cast chance for free, you want to be picking those up. Let's go for just universal area, and all those bosses are dead. We'll get more damage. And we'll go down here for the level 3 trial. I think it's going to be more bosses. Yep, sure is. We got more slow on all our attacks. The boss I like to get rid of the fastest is kind of this Medusa-looking boss. Just because she shoots a straight laser beam and it kind of goes across the entire map. So it can be rather annoying to dodge. She also has a large AoE. Once you deal with her, I like to deal with all the bosses that kind of have any sort of beam attack to them. Just because it follows you and it's pretty annoying to deal with. We got one boss left. And there we go. More skill frequency. And here's the chest on the map I was talking about. There's a little icon, and this one is indicated by a yellow ring around it that you gotta stay in. When doing the crystals and the treasure chest, a lot of elite enemies spawn, so you just gotta be careful. There's gonna be a ton of AoEs that get thrown at you. We'll go for more slow. And the chest is almost open. And there's a ton more XP. We'll banish that one. And here is the other perk we were talking about. Thankfully, we got an epic. And now we have an 8% chance whenever we cast one of our ice abilities. We have an 8% chance of immediately casting Frozen Warhammer, which is the majority of our damage. We'll get more area on the Frozen Warhammer. And we will go challenge the level 4 altar now. What I like to do if there's two bosses next to each other, I kind of try getting some cheeky damage on them the moment they spawn in. And these are the beam attacks I was talking about, how they're rather annoying to kind of dodge. More universal damage. and close the gap on this last boss. And there we go. More universal damage. Multicast on Icy Vortex, very nice. Here's a level 1. We got more mini bosses, then we have a crystal at the bottom of the map that we're going to go for. Just more XP, it's always nice. Already next to this ice boss, so we'll try to kill him first. And the Medusa boss. Thankfully she did her beam attack, so we're just behind her getting free damage. And she should be dead here. Very nice. And we're gonna make our way. Here's a damage modifier for 3 of our abilities, 40%. But we're gonna make our way towards this crystal. Once again, dealing with a lot of elites, but not the end of the world. This is where that movement speed comes into play. We'll get the cast frequency. And hopefully get some good perks for leveling up. We just got the 1 movement speed, not the best, but that's okay. And we are going to have to kill some more mini-bosses, and then we'll be able to fight this Titan. We'll get multicast. Got to deal with kind of 4 bosses here. One of them's dead, thankfully, and the other one should start falling over. There's 2, there's 3, and there is all 4 of them. And we'll get more multicast. And then after we fight this Titan, when our next selection comes up, we'll want to re-roll until we get the Glacial Watcher. But here is the Golden Scarab boss. This boss is not super difficult, but it summons poison tornadoes the longer the fight goes on, which can be annoying and hard to kind of deal with. There's the boss spawning in, a few of them right now. But we managed to deal with the Titan pretty easily, and see what we get. Overall reroll. And we got crit damage and cast frequency. So it looks like the Titans only offer us 4 different buffs. I believe it changes based off of run, because I have seen them offer different kind of perks. But I didn't want to waste all my rerolls there, because we definitely want the Glacial Watcher, and I was on my last reroll to do that. So if we didn't get it there, it would have been unfortunate. But now we're able to take the damage increase based on how many slow stacks we have on the enemies, which is super useful. We'll farm up here a little bit. More AoE. More crit chance. A legendary multicast for everything. We'll gladly take that. Back-to-back legendaries. This is for area modifier. That's insane. I'll take the cast frequency here. More cast frequency. Or area modifier. Yeah, in terms of this game, it's probably been one of my favorite roguelikes for a while now. I have over 100-something hours into it. They're just constantly releasing more updates to the game at a rather frequent time. We'll take more area there. But yeah, so I've played this game since early access. It's in the official release right now. It's actually just came out with its 1.4 update, the Glacial Watcher, not too long ago, which added this map and that boss to, or the Glacial Watcher boss, to the game. They also added a bunch more legendary weapons to a lot of the characters. but they're always releasing more content to this game. And honestly, you can spend a very long time in this game and do really crazy things and not get bored of it. We have another legendary. We'll lock this crit, giving us slow, and take that legendary. We've had 3 legendaries already in just this kind of wave alone. But yeah, so like I said, I have 100 plus hours and I haven't even done everything that this game has to offer. I'm still missing some weapons. I don't have all the characters even fully upgraded. There's an insane meta progression, which each character having their own kind of talent tree that can give you kind of buffs for your entire account. So leveling up all the characters is definitely good, just so you have universal increases. But yeah, this game just never fails to disappoint. When I don't know what to play, I just always end up coming back to this game and trying out different types of builds. And as you can see, we have so many ice beams around us. This isn't even at the graphics at 100% for special effects. If I turned that up, this is what the build currently looks like, and it's not even in its final form yet. We'll take universal damage. I just turned this down to about 50%, that way I can actually see what the enemies are throwing at me. We have another legendary area modifier for all our skills. We've had 4 legendaries this wave alone. This is coming out to be an insane build. And an epic insta-cast chance. Yeah, this is going to be probably one of the best runs for the build I've done so far. Just because we're not even at the end yet, and we're just getting so many good upgrades. More area modifier. The only thing that would make this run even slightly better is at the end of the Titan bosses, when we enter those purple portals and have the choice between going to different Titans, you have a chance of getting a golden portal instead, and that is like kind of like a hidden treasure room, but it gives you so much XP for going through it. You end up going up so many levels. Multicast on a bunch of stuff. We have a guaranteed chance to crit enemies at full health. And here is a crystal at the top of the map. We'll do this level 1 altar on our way. Just because now we're in a really good spot to fight this boss. We'll get cast frequency on severe cold. And we'll go harvest this crystal real fast. The cool thing about this character's ascension, the Elementalist Ascension, is whenever you pick up these orbs, depending on which ones you pick up, it kind of does a different thing. As you can see, I have kind of blue lasers shooting chill at enemies. I have lightning balls flying around. They don't necessarily do the most damage, but it's kind of fun just seeing all the different effects going on. As you can see, the absolute amount of blue lasers that I can get at a time is insane. We'll do this level 3 altar that spawned next to us. We have a legendary damage. We have had, what is that, 5 now? Whoa, I got a bit too excited. I do still gotta dodge these enemy attacks, these bosses. Do a lot of damage to us. Want to make sure we are still being careful. But yeah, I believe that is 5 legendaries so far on this wave alone. We also got another crystal that we'll gladly do. And we need 5 more points before we face off against this Titan. Nice thing about the HP is before you go fight the Titan, it fully replenishes your HP. So as long as you don't die and lose one of your lives, I have 3 lives. I have the 2 extra ones in just our normal life. So you kind of have a And a safety. We got another. We have another legendary. This is a 10% chance casting this instantly. We have a 24% chance of casting that ability instantly. This round has been absolutely insane for us. We'll fight some more bosses here. One of them is dead. We definitely don't want to get caught up in that beam. Thankfully, if you can get around the boss, it's pretty easy to take out. There's no what? Is this the most insane amount of legendary upgrades? We also got the slam upgrade, which is arguably better than this. We'll lock this epic one and take the legendary. I don't even know what to say anymore. I don't think I've ever seen this amount of legendaries back to back to back. Most of the time they are pretty rare, but we're just getting an absolute insane amount of them. And there is that instacast on our Warhammer. And we'll do a level 3 altar to finish this up and then challenge this Titan. We'll focus on the two bosses down here real fast. Try to deal with those guys first. Both of them are dealt with. And we have another chance for our Warhammer, a 22% chance of casting it instantaneously now. We'll get more crit chance. The cool thing about this game is over-critting is a thing. So even though I'm at 143, I actually have a 43% chance to double crit, and all my attacks are guaranteed to crit at least once. So because of the perk I have that where it says, whenever I land a critical hit, I apply chill, every attack I do applies chill, and some of my attacks actually apply double the amount of chill. But here's the Glacial Watcher again, and let's see how fast we can kill this Titan. It's going to do a dash, it's going to put up some like balls, and then it's going to do like a wall attack, and it should be dead here. Just like that. We are going to increase the damage modifier of all our attacks based on the number of slow, which basically gets maxed out instantaneously because of how much damage we're doing. We'll take universal damage. And let's see what we get for our last Titan. I don't believe it's possible to get the same Titan back to back, which is okay. We'll just go for Faedum here. Hopefully we get one of those golden portals I was talking about, just to showcase it. They are super useful in the runs, just because of how much bonus XP you get. I was doing a run where I went from like levels 90 to like 115, 120, giving us over 20 levels just in one room. Didn't have to fight any enemies. Another... This is a legendary frozen hammer. Okay. I don't know how my luck's this insane, but we will gladly take it. Damage modifier for all our ice abilities. And we'll do a little bit of farming. It's kind of hard to farm on this map just because there's no like direct corners. Kind of just have to sit up against the wall. I'll reroll here. I'll just get the bonus slow on all my attacks. I don't want to waste too many of my rerolls. Yeah, so it is kind of hard to kind of farm the enemies, but there is a 30% chance to instacast the hammer now. But that is okay, we'll just take our time here real fast. We will get more area modifier on the hammer. This kind of blue thing being put down on the map is actually the radius of the hammer. So as you can see, it just hits everything in front of us that we're looking at. damage modifier on 3 of our abilities, plus 40%. I'll probably gain another level or 2 before we start going after more altars. More slow chance on all our attacks. Actually slow intensity, so I don't believe it gives us actually more stacks, it just makes the enemy slower. If it gives us more stacks, that's nice. We'll take more magnet, just helps us level up that much faster. And we'll go start doing the actual altars. I've gained a decent amount of levels just from kind of sitting around. It's never a bad idea to gain like 5, 10 plus levels. Just so you get a little bit of the start before you challenge some of these. Get more area modifier on all our abilities. Just because if you end up getting an altar, we'll get Leviathan here. If you get an altar that is the bosses, especially if you're just starting off on the new map, they can have a decent amount of HP, so it could take a little bit for you to kill them, which increases the chance of you getting hit, and they start doing a lot of damage. Here's a golden beetle that spawned in, just giving us some nice bonus XP. Cast frequency on freezing blow. And here is a crystal that we will gladly take. And we are levels 150 right now. Farm up all these elites while we're inside of this area. 20% more universal AoE. And our attack radius is so large, as you can see, when our hammer strikes, it's pretty much covering the entire map. Here is purple cast frequency. And let's go back to clearing some altars. Kill the goblins. Say less. Pesky, pesky goblins. Cast frequency. Here's the level 3 down here. I think this is going to be a boss one, yep. Got 4 bosses, so just want to be careful that we don't accidentally get hit by anything. One of them is dead, 2 of them are dead. We're kind of just going to rotate around here. Well, another legendary, and this one's insane. 10% chance to cast our Frozen Warhammer. Yes, please. We'll gladly take that. I don't know if it actually shows us how many legendaries we've gotten, but I think we're over 10. So that's insane. More universal damage, and we'll clear this level 2 altar to finish it up and face the Titan. So in order to face the final boss, or get to the final arena to face the final boss, you need to beat at least 4 of the Titans first. So something you can do as well is you don't have to immediately go to the final boss area. What you can do is after you beat this 4th Titan, I'll actually explain it here in a second. Just, it's easier to show. But here's Fatum, the Skull Crusher. Let's get behind him. And we gotta wait for our slow stacks to kind of build up, but once they do, as you can see, our damage just goes through the roof. Increase your damage modifier every time you hit an enemy with Slam. Oh, we'll definitely take that because we are insta-casting Frozen Warhammer. And here's the golden portal I was talking about, so I will do this first, and then show about the Titans. So this is the secret room. Thankfully, we got it right before the final area. Just run to the middle of the room and pick up the chest, and so much XP. We will take more multicast. We'll take cast frequency. I'll re-roll this. We'll take area modifier. We'll take Leviathan. And you just run around the room picking up all the XP. And as you can see, our levels are just absolutely flying up right now. I'll actually lock this severe gold multicast and pick up the just standard purple one. Another dash is huge. Damage of Icy Vortex. We'll get cast frequency again. More skill chain. I believe we're at a 30% chance to immediately cast Freezing Blow. Damage of Warhammer. And we are levels 172. So here we are. So we have collected all the amount of Titan Bloods to open the Primordial Portal and face the final boss. You could also continue farming the Titans and then go to the final boss. But if you do that every time you slay a Titan, as you can see, the enemy's health drastically increases. Right now they have a 25,000 HP multiplier plus a ton of other stats. So if you end up fighting more bosses, the final area and boss gets exponentially harder. So unless you think you can outscale them, I recommend just teleporting to the final area. For me, if one of those was the Glacial Watcher, I could have also re-rolled for it again. I might have gone for it, but just because these modifiers get absolutely insane with the enemy bonuses, I honestly just don't think it's worth it, like 99% of the time. But we are on our way to the final arena. And here we are fighting a bunch of crystal enemies. For this area, if you want to do farming, what I like to do is I come into this little corner on the left side of the map, making sure not to trigger this. But just because up here, all the enemies just easily spawn in for us, and we're just able to kill them super fast. I'll probably try gaining a few levels here. I'll probably just go to 175. Normally I like to be about 175 in this last arena before I fight the final boss. So between like 175 and 180 is where I normally like to be. We'll actually take this HP. And once we go to 175, we'll do this altar. This one's kind of a bad one. It is a boss altar in this small area. So unless we kill the bosses fast, which we do have to stack up to do, the bosses can do a lot of damage to us. Thankfully, we got some extra lives, but we definitely don't want to be using all of those. I'll actually lock this purple for more area, but let's go ahead and fight these bosses. So we are fighting 4 of them, unfortunately. Hopefully we can take a few of them out. Kinda kite around them. And there we go. 3 of them are already dead. And there's all 4 of them. And we did not take any damage there, which is very nice. And I will go on and complete some more altars, just because I'm already at the level threshold I like to be at. I can burn some rerolls here for some better perks. I like to keep a few for the final boss. And there's more skill chain chance. For the final boss, you just get some perks. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I'll explain more so when we get to the final boss what that's going to be looking like. And there's another legendary, just universal multicast. I do think we're over 10 legendary perks we've gotten so far this run. And here's a level 4. Hopefully we don't get stuck on anything, and there we go. All of that has been dealt with. I'll reroll a few times here. We'll get damage on Warhammer. I'll mine this crystal before I move on. But I like to keep about 5 rerolls or so for this kind of final area. We'll go with cast frequency. But yeah, so you could, in each area, farm up a bit more. I didn't do a whole lot of farming, but you definitely could do so in order to get a lot more upgrades, just to be able to clear this stuff a lot faster. These bosses are kind of spread out. It's a bit unfortunate. We got stuck on a wall there. Hopefully we are able to just kind of run out of there, thankfully. We're stuck on another wall. That's okay. One boss down. Second should be falling here shortly. And there's 2 and 3. We just gotta make sure we don't get hit by this beam. We'll take another dash, that way we have 4 dashes. And there we go. All 4 of those bosses were dealt with. But yeah, I like to play on Titan Hunt level 5. I don't have Titan Hunt level 10 unlocked yet, which is where I want to fully try out a lot of the builds. But I do Titan Hunt level 5 just because there is multiple bosses at the end. It's kind of like every 5 levels is kind of like the final boss. So instead of going on 6 and only fighting one of them, I like to play on 5 just so I can kind of fight the final boss of the actual game. And we have a 42% chance of casting Freezing Blast instantly. And I'll reroll once here. And we have almost a 50% chance of immediately casting Frozen Warhammer anytime an ice skill is used. But let's go face the final boss. The king has opened my eyes. Allow me to close yours forever. Corrupted Arcane Weaver. Alright. Just gotta make sure we watch out for his attacks. He has a lot of AoEs that he likes to use. As you can see, our damage is scaling up pretty rapidly against this boss. He's summoning a lot of stuff that follows us around here. We just gotta keep on dodging. We got hit there, but we ended up killing him, which is very nice. And here's one of the first buffs. So here's some HP regen and area modifier. We don't want any of that. Here's 100% more crit chance, or 110% more damage. We lose some movement speed. I think we just take this. 110% damage is insane. But here is going to be the true final boss of the game. Just gotta give it a second. Who dares summon me? Oh, another Void Hunter enters my sanctum. Yes, I know you're kind. The corpses decorate my chamber. How many must I destroy before you understand? I am the king, kneel. The Void King. And he sits on his throne. Just gotta pay attention to where these attacks are landing. We'll get some cast frequency there, kind of leveled up. Gotta watch out for these beams. We got hit there, it's not the end of the world. We ended up losing a life there. That's okay. I see your powers, Hunter. Others shattered, but you can still ascend. Why bleed for them? I offer you unchained power. No thanks, man. It's okay. That's what you want, isn't it? Don't you wish to become a god? Let me show you how. Oh, well, he has 2 phases. And he has picked up a sword, and he's no longer sitting on his throne. He did lose 1 life here, so we gotta be careful. Whew. That was close. He does a lot of... No, I am the king. I am the king. But yeah, he summons a lot of kind of AoE patterns. And so it ends. An empty throne and a hollow crown. Only silence remains. Yeah, that second phase is hard, especially if you aren't killing him super fast. Oh, 1 second. You think you defeated me, Hunter? Yeah, this final boss actually has 3 phases to it, so you have to fight 4 bosses in total. So it does become rather challenging, especially if your build is kind of lackluster. So let's see if we can kill this final phase. Summons a giant purple laser, you definitely want to go under that. Summon some large AoEs. Don't want to get close to them for that. We got another legendary. We want to still focus up here. We dodged that attack. Making sure we lost a life there. We just got to focus up. And there we go. On our last life, we managed to beat him. Impossible. No one has ever. Fool. You have no idea what you've done. I was the master of the horrors you feared. Without me, the hunger spreads violently, unchained. The nightmare is endless. And you get one final buff. Every time you cast a skill, you chance to gain vigor, so we just get more healing. Or swiftness, which increases our cast frequency. This is just damage cast frequency and multicast, so we'll take it. But if you take this blue portal, it ends the run. We did beat the final boss. You could take the purple one and continue the run and see how far you could get. We are going to end the run there. And our Frozen Warhammer almost dealt 1 trillion damage, and these are our final stats. As you can see, Icy Vortex and Frozen Warhammer are our 2 main damage sources. The Severe Cold and Freezing Blow just kind of act as a turbocharge for the Warhammer and the Vortex. And our overall details of our DPS, effective damage, total damage, number of hits. For our number of hits, our Frozen Warhammer actually hit 165,000 enemies. Our healing, 0. The total healing is just from healing crystals. Our skill tree dealing some damage. But yeah, that is the final stats. We beat Titan Hunt level 5 with the Elementalist doing a full kind of slow build. If you enjoyed the content and made it this far, think about leaving a like, hitting that subscribe button. Until next time, take care.